Welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor and another tutorial in our Autodesk Inventor Certified User Exam Prep series. In this video, we'll cover one of the fundamental modeling tools in Inventor, the Extrude feature command. You'll learn how to create both solid and surface models, control extrusion depth, and use different options like cut, join, and intersect to shape your designs. Mastering extrusions is key to building accurate 3D models and will be essential for the certification exam. Let's jump in and start creating. When creating extrusions in Autodesk Inventor, you have to begin with a sketch. I always suggest that your sketches be completely constrained so that they will be more predictable when you make changes in the future. And we're going to look at a few different sketches that I have here. The first one for this part is just simply extruding a solid. If you look at this sketch, you'll see if we look in the lower right hand corner down here that it is indeed fully constrained, so that if I were to come in and change any of my dimensions, it would be completely predictable and behave in ways that I could expect. Now if I want to do a simple extrusion on this, I can do so. I'll simply come in here and choose the extrude command. Because this profile has only one because my sketch has only one profile, it simulates what it's going to look like right off the bat. Now, there are a couple things that we can do here. Looking at the window that pops up here, I could come in and I could choose a different profile if it had more than one. And we'll take a look at how that works in another sketch in a minute. And I can say from, to, and that kind of stuff, but there's only one sketch in this one, so that one's not going to help. Down here under behavior, I can change which way it's going to extrude. So I can say extrude towards me, or extrude the other direction, or do a mid-plane or a symmetric extrusion where it will extrude half of this distance each direction. Or I can choose an asymmetric extrusion where I can say I want it to go distance A some distance and then distance B another distance so that you can get whatever you want. In addition to these tools, if I come down here on the bottom, I can choose if I want to name this as a specific name. So I could call it solid 1, solid 2, whatever it happens to be. You can create names for your extrusions as you create them. And then down here under advanced properties, you can even give it a taper. So for example, if I wanted this to taper so that it could release from a mold, I could give it a taper of, let's say, like 3 degrees. No, 3 degrees. And I will change that taper to a negative so that it's going to be smaller on this side than it is on that side. And then, you know, in an injected molded situation, we could pop this out and it would still work. So that's the way that's going to work. And you can see now that I have my solid model and it's ready to go. Now, Inventor also has the ability to create a surface model. So if I come in here, for example, on this one, this sketch also is fully constrained. You'll notice down here in the lower right-hand corner that it does say that it's fully constrained, but it is not a closed profile. So when I come in here now to do the extrude on this one, you'll see that it simulates the extrusion, but in the upper right-hand corner here, it says surface mode is on. So again, I still have all of the same options here. I can choose the direction, the distance, and so on. When I choose OK, you'll notice that what I have here is not a solid model, but a surface model. And each of these, if you look at them in the side view, are basically infinitely thin. There's no real thickness on this, but it's something that I could use in a surface modeling technique. So if you're doing surface modeling for organic shapes and those kinds of things, you might want to start with a surface model. Now there's other things that you can do, so let's look at those in turn. I've got another one here that's just a rectangle, so I'm going to start off with an extrusion here. I'll do a mid-plane extrusion. I'll make it maybe a couple inches deep so we have something to work with like this. Now on this one, I'm going to show a couple different things. Let's start off on this front surface. I'm going to create a new sketch on this front surface, and just for fun, I'm going to put an ellipse in here. So I'll say my length is this and my width is this. And then I'm also going to add another line right through the middle of this. So now what I have here is I actually have two profiles. Now at this point you see it says that it has 4 dimensions needed. That's because I didn't project any of my geometry when I was doing some of this. So I need to come back in and I need to say, okay, let's make, let's say I want this midpoint to be on there, and I want the line to be vertical, and I'll put in a coincident constraint between this and this. So now I'm fully constrained. Oh, I need one more. And I want that point to be constrained there. So now I'm fully constrained. If I look at this, there are 2 profiles. There's this side and then there's this side, which gives me some things that I can do with it. When I come into the extrude command, you'll notice right off the bat that it does not pick any profile because there's more than one profile. So as I hover over the different profiles, you'll see that they highlight. And if I wanted to extrude both profiles, I could say, let's extrude that one and let's extrude that one. So you'll see that I get the ellipse, and that's no problem. But if I only wanted to extrude one of them, I can say, let's extrude that one, or let's extrude this one, whichever. If I decide I didn't want this, I can hold the shift key down and select again, and it will deselect it, and then I can pick this one. So again, I've selected that one, but if I don't want that, I'll hold shift, select, and it deselects it, so I can now have one of those, or not both. Okay. Now, in addition to this, I have Boolean operations. So now that I've got one feature existing already, I've got another feature, I've got options. I can add this one or join them together. If I just choose join, what I end up with now is one solid with 2 different shapes. Okay, it's not like there's 2 solids here. If I were to create, you know, a slice through here, you'll see that it's monolithic. It's all one part. You know, like maybe you make the form and you fill it with plaster or concrete or plastic or whatever it happens to be. Okay, so it's monolithic. It's all one part. Okay, but it's joined them together. I'm going to undo that. I'll simply come up here and choose undo. The other option, or the next option that I have here, if I pick that one again, is I have the cut feature. So if I come in here and I say cut, notice what it's going to do is it's going to cut a hole through this object. Okay, and I can say okay, and now I've got my cut feature there. It's actually cutting the hole through the object. Now, just like when I'm going to undo that again, just like when I was doing the original extrude, okay, and it gives me the option here to extrude at some distance, if I change it to a cut feature, it still gives me the option to specify the distance. Okay, so I can either type in the distance here at this point, I can come over here and I can click here and type in the distance here at this point, or I can choose through all. So if I only wanted to go halfway through, I could say let's make it 1, and you'll see that it's only going to make it go halfway through. But if I say through all, it's going to make it go through all, and this is actually a good thing because now it's going through all even if I take this original extrusion and I make it bigger. So if I make that 3 inches, it's still going to cut through all. Whereas if I were to do it the other way, I come in here and I say I want that as a cut feature and I want it to go 2 inches and say okay. So now it's going through all, but if I come back and I change feature number 1 and make this one 3 inches, feature number 2 is still 2 inches. So I don't get that going all the way through anymore. So you can see that that's an issue. If you're trying to cut something through all, then you'll want to choose through all. So let me come back in here now. I'll simply modify this one and I'll say through all and okay. And now if I come back in and modify this initial extrusion and make the depth bigger, it's going to actually give me what I want in the future. Okay, so that's how that one's going to work. Now if I still have this other half over here and the sketch still exists, once you make an extrusion, the sketch is consumed by that feature, but the sketch still exists. If I want to reuse this, I can simply right-click on that sketch and choose Visibility or Share Sketch, and now that sketch is back up, and I can now do another extrusion with that, and I can extrude it or do whatever it happens to be. Okay, so that's that one. Now, In addition here, I'm going to create one more. I'm going to turn off, it's a good idea, by the way, when you're done, to turn off the visibility of those sketches. I'm going to create another sketch on this surface. I will project my edges just so that I have some stuff to work with here. And I'm going to put in another ellipse just because it's easy. So I'll go from that point to that point, and oops, I want ellipse. So here's my midpoint. I'll go to that midpoint there and that midpoint there. It needs some dimensions. I'm not going to worry about it right now. So the other option that I have here, we looked at solid or join. We looked at cut. The third one that I have is what we call intersect. And what intersect will do is it will give me only the stuff that is common between all of the pieces that I have chosen. So if I choose OK here, you'll see what's happening is it's getting rid of everything that was not inside of this ellipse here, but it's keeping all of that other stuff. So we end up with something that's, actually kind of weird looking, but kind of interesting as well. Okay, so you have the three options of cut, join, and intersect. So you can use these in various ways to create your models, and you can stack them together and use them to model your designs and capture that design intent.